Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Charlene Hess Show, living on your heart's edge on TransformationTalkRadio.com. In each episode, Charlene empowers you to shed the layers of your ego that hold you back and to connect more deeply to your true self. You will hear real, raw, and inspiring stories of people just like you who are letting go of fear to follow their heart's calling. Finally, the inspiration you've been waiting for to step out of fear and into your knowing. Get ready to feel empowered to live from your heart and follow that dream inside of you. Discover how to live on your heart's edge. The world is waiting for you to shine your light and share your gift. Now here's your host. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge. And today we've had a quick change of plans. I was going to be hosting Tina Singleton, who is an amazing woman who has created the Transformation Table. And she gave me a call about 2 hours ago and let me know that unfortunately she's had a family emergency and she's not able to make it today. So she's not going to be on the show. So I had to quick decide what I'm going to do for the show today. And I have to tell you, I have a little bit of a confession. I have been working on a big secret project for several months, almost a year. And I have been being a little bit slow to the launch, let's say, because there's so much to it and I'm so excited about it and I want it to be perfect. And I have this idea of like, okay, I'm going to introduce this project and I'm going to share this project with everyone. And then I wait. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to share it. I'm going to launch it. And then I pull back and I wait. And it's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. And so the interesting thing is I was on a coaching call with my coach with an organization that I'm working with called Campfire Effect. And we were just talking about how I feel like it's almost ready, but it's not quite there. And it was so wonderful. Chris, my coach, said, Charlene, I hereby give you permission to launch it today before you feel like it's completely ready. And this was on Wednesday. And I was just like, okay, he's like, I declare that it's ready. And I thought, okay, well, maybe in April. And so when I got that phone call today of Tina letting me know that she can't make it to the show, that she has this emergency and she's not going to be able to be here, it struck me. You know, I got that feeling in my belly. I got that feeling in my chest like, Charlene, what if you just launched your program? What if you just told everyone about this amazing project that you've been working on? What if you just used the radio show to show how you personally are living on your heart's edge and stepping out of fear and into the knowing? Because my fear is the program's not ready and I don't want to tell all of you about it until I feel like it's totally ready. The heart's knowing, the thing that I know deep in my heart is that it's ready. It's already ready. It's been ready. This information was downloaded and given to me months ago, and I've just been like perfecting it. And you know that feeling of when, you know, you're sharpening your pencil, you've got all your supplies ready, you've got your desk organized, and you're ready to work on a project, and you go and you sharpen your pencil. And then you're like, okay, I think I'm ready. And you're like, well, maybe my pencil needs to be a little bit sharper. And you sharpen your pencil. And you're like, okay, and you sit down, you're ready. You've got your pencil in hand and you're ready to go. And then you wait, maybe I should sharpen my pencil, organize my book. So that is called procrastination. And I have to tell you that I have been procrastinating on this because I have been wanting it to be perfect. So Perfectionism is something that I have been overcoming. I've actually done shows on it. You've heard me talking about it. And so today I am finally going to pick up the pencil and use it. I'm not going to sharpen it anymore. Of course, the whole process that I'm going to be sharing with you is an ongoing process. It's not something that it's a one and done and it's ready. It's evolving because that's how our life is. Our life is constantly evolving. And so before I kind of jump into sharing with you what my big project is, I want to give you a little bit of information about how kind of the why, like where did all of this start of how I became a transformation coach. I feel like it starts way back when. So I'm going to take you back a little bit into sharing with you a little bit of the story of my life. So if you want to hear the full story, you can listen to the episode From Chaos to Love. I did that on Living Heaven on Earth with Cornelia Stephanie on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. And that was the very first radio show that I did when she asked me to share a little bit about my history and my life story. And I titled that show From Chaos to Love because that is the experience that I had. And so I'm curious if, as you listen to my story, if you feel like you can relate to any of these experiences in your life. You know, I started out being born into this family, and the family that we're born into is the family that it's like, that's all we know. So that is our reality. So regardless of what kind of function or dysfunction it is, that is the reality that you know. And this is where the programming begins. You are constantly being fed information as you are just this little sponge, this little child, eyes wide open, gathering all of this information of this is life. This is what health is. This is communication. This is love. So we learn all of these things, and hence begins the formation of our ego. Our ego is that external definition of who we are as our sense of self. And so the life that I was brought into was one of absolute chaos and dysfunction. I'm the youngest of 13 children. My mother gave birth to 13 children. I am the last child. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and it was my upbringing was probably the most dysfunctional type of upbringing that you can probably imagine. Every type of abuse that you can imagine, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual abuse, every type of abuse or chaos that you can imagine was the life that I had experienced in my growing up years. And although that became what I understood as normal, that became my program that I was operating under, there was something deep inside of me that always knew that there's got to be something different. So even though that was my norm, even though that was my understanding of how the world operated, there was still something inside of me that I didn't really know how to fully connect to, but I just had this little thing. And I think that all of us do. If you think about when you're a child, like how joyful we are as a child, because life is so simple. Even if you're raised in a life of chaos like I was, where there was all this screaming and yelling and things being thrown and that sense of fear, there was still, countless of times and things that I can remember of really happy memories of playing jump rope in the street with my sisters and my brothers, playing street football, riding my bike. My imagination would go wild when I would sleep or when I would sit alone, and I would play with my Matchbox cars or sticks, building forts, playing with the neighbors, having friends. It was so simple to still, no matter what's going on in your life, to connect to that place of playfulness and of joy. And we can hold on to that. And I held on to that as I was going through my life. So fast forward many, many years, when I was 12, I was on my own. So my parents had divorced when I was 10, and my dad left and moved away. And then when I was 12, my mother left and moved away. And all of us kids, there were 6 of us kids left at home. to kind of fend for ourselves. And that was when things started to really shift for me, because began the responsibility of taking care of myself. I had to figure out my food. I had to figure out where I was going to live. I had to figure out how to take care of myself. And so that was the time in my life where that shift or that switch happened, where I stopped being able to connect to that inner playful child, connect to that joy. Now, that is an extreme case. Many of us go through life and still, while being taken care of, still having our parents, not necessarily being on their own at such a young age, but there's something in your life that happens that brings this awareness or this awakening, like, things are now serious. I have to do all of these things to take care of myself, take care of your basic needs. And then that shift happens where we slowly start to disconnect from that inner joy, that inner child, that inner playfulness. And so for me, that happened when I was 12. For you, perhaps it happened around the same time, that adolescent age, that preteen time period, because that's when generally as children, we start to have this sense of self that changes and shifts because we're in this comparison of looking at our friends. So in school, looking at all of our different friends and what they're doing, the pressures of school starts to become a little bit harder. The idea of just learning for fun changes, I think, in middle school, junior high school age. So whatever it was for you, for me, it was being on my own, having both of my parents leave. For you, it could have been maybe a divorce when parents, separated, or it could be that time when you first realized that you were betrayed by a friend and your sense of identity shifted or changed. It could be when you had to take on a new sense of responsibility. So all of these various different things happen at that time when we start to, things happen that then make us disconnect from our inner child or our inner joy. And so then we take on this responsible role of needing to get things done. And we start to lose our sense of self, that it comes from the inside. And that's the part where we start to look outside of ourselves to then gather our sense of who it is that we are. And so that's what had happened to me. I started looking outside of myself to try and find and connect to that inner joy, that inner playfulness, that sense of fun, play, joy, happiness. I started looking for it on the outside, which I think is what we tend to do. So thus began transformation number 1 of my life, of becoming a professional transformer, and how the transformation happened. So we're just going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, I will share with you my first transformation of going from chaos to love. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information. Are you ready to embrace your essence and the magic of who you are? Let me, Emily Perkins, hold your hand and walk with you as we go treasure hunting for the gold that lies within you. Tune in to Love Living Radio every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit lovelivingHolistics.com.
The Knowledge Book, currently studied in 39 countries and 15 languages around the world, accelerates our evolution, takes us out of depression, offers universal truth, protects us, and makes us stronger, both spiritually and physically. So if you are interested in the Knowledge Book, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net and tune in to the Knowledge Book Radio with Marge Potasic on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper, subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio, as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Tune in to the Astral Insider, your portal for adventure, insight, and growth with Fernando Albert. And get ready to tour the astral realm, expand your life in ways you've never imagined, and call in for the journey of your life with this world-renowned lucid dreamer, astral projectionist, psychic medium, and healer, Fernando Albert. This is every second and fourth Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're listening to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge. And so we're talking about transformations that happen in our life. So first transformation happened when I was about 12 years old, middle school, junior high. And that transformation became finding my identity through my external surroundings. And I think that is something that all of us go through. And so can you remember the time in your life that you started to look outside of yourself to find your sense of meaning, to find your sense of purpose, to find your sense of self, which sounds so, ironic because we're looking for our sense of self outside of us rather than actually going inside to find our own selves. But we don't. We tend to look on the outside. We use everything that's coming at us externally to filter through and create our sense of identity. And so thus began that first transformation. And this transformation was one of chaos to love, but it was the kind of love that was external and conditional. I attached to this sense or this idea of I'm going to get love by becoming who it is that whoever it was that I was with saw me as, the way that they wanted me to be. Thus began my life as a performer. And not as a performer, like in the sense that I got paid to perform and entertain people. It was my life as a performer in that my identity, my sense of self, my sense of accomplishment, love, validation came from how I performed for other people. The person that I became, who it was that I showed up as. And fast forward now, I have, from the time that I was 12 until the time that I was 17, I worked very, very hard. I worked 3 jobs, went to school, and began my identity of becoming invincible, perfect, valuable, because I had something to offer or give. So in that time, I worked, went to school, became a hairdresser, moved to Texas, and started my life of following my big dream. So I still had this dream that was deep inside of me of the life that I wanted to live. I wanted to have a life of significance. I wanted to feel like there was a purpose and a meaning to my life. And at that time, it was going to be as a platform artist, as a hairdresser, working with Tony and Guy. So I moved to Texas to begin that mission. And that was where my life shifted completely and changed in a completely different way. And my life was derailed once again. This time it was stopping and halting my career that I was so excited to have. And I met my husband and ended up getting married, having 2 children, and switched and changed the outside appearance, but the inside was still the same, in that I was still a performer, performing, living a life that was the life that was expected of me from the external world. Now, the really funny thing is, when we do this, when we start to live inside of a box that we've been put in, where we decide that, okay, I'm going to show up this way. This is my life. This is how I'm going to act. This is how I'm going to behave. This is the way that I'm going to get my validation. And we are put into this box. But what we don't understand or realize is that we are putting ourselves in this box by agreeing to become this person that we think we're supposed to be. So that's like the first sort of interesting awareness to have, is that nobody's putting you in that box. You are stepping into that box, but we don't know that at the time, right? So at the time, we feel like we are being put into this box of this is the way that we lived. So the box that I was living in, I was happy, perfect, young mother, young wife, 25 years old. I had 2 children. I owned my own home. I owned my own business. I was nominated for Businesswoman of the Year, and I was 25 years old. I was very active in my church. I held 5 positions. I was so productive. I was so busy. I was living the dream. Everyone looked at me and was like, whoa, you're so amazing. You have such an amazing, happy life. You're married. You have 2 children. You have your own business. You own your own home. And you're only 25 years old. But what people didn't know was that on the inside, I was trapped. And I felt like I was suffocating, because there was still this inner voice, this thing that was inside of me that was trying to tell me that I wanted a different life, that was trying to tell me that there was more to life than just being a producer of what I would call a producer of value, right? So I was producing, I was performing, I was living this life to show and try and achieve or get a sense of value and self-worth. And so that was the experience that I was having. I happened to have it at a very young age. Most people tend to start to have this awakening or this awareness of, wait a minute, this is not my life. Generally in their 40s, that's what they call, the midlife crisis. For me, mine began quite a bit earlier, but I stayed in it. Because when you are a performer, when you are living a life that's not your own, that you're completely attached to your external world or validation, your external world for validation, you don't have that sense of awareness. So what happens is that inner voice that keeps calling to you, you stifle it and you shut it down and you fill it with something else. So I filled it with more work, with being busy, right? I filled it with growing my business bigger. I filled it with taking on more positions in my church. I filled it with more volunteer positions. I filled it with making my children's life my own. That was my identity, was I was a mother. So I just kept finding all of these other things, external things that became my identity, to the point to where eventually you stop being able to hear that inner voice. That was where I was when I finally came to the place of, I was 38 years old and my mother became very ill, and I knew that she was probably not going to make it through another year. And I had this huge awakening and this huge awareness of realizing I am ending up doing exactly what my mother did, which I swore I would never do, which was to live my entire life for somebody else, never living or following my own dreams. I realized that, I'll never forget the day when I woke up and I looked around my house and I looked at my teenage children. I looked at my husband, looking at my business, and I just looked in the mirror and I said, this is not my life. How did I get here? How did I get to this place where I'm so disconnected from who I am at my core that I have no sense of value or worth that's intrinsic, that's internal, that everything about who I am is based on my performance? And I was suffocating. I felt like I couldn't breathe and I entered into a depression. And I never thought I would be there because I'm like hyper happy, super energetic all of the time. And everybody that knows me as that, that fiery redhead who's just so full of life and excitement. And I'm at this place where I literally just can't get out of bed. I don't have the energy to even get out of bed. And it was that awareness or that shift that happened when I started to see that my mother was ending her life. Her life was ending and she never lived it. She never lived her own life. She never found or reconnected to that place of joy. Her entire life was about raising all of these children and just surviving one chaotic event to the next. She was just surviving. There was so much chaos surrounding her from the marriages that she was in, from all the drama of what was going on with my family and her children, but she never got to travel the way that she wanted to travel. She never got to, have that trapeze that she always wanted to have. Her life was just miserable in martyrdom. And I saw myself going in that direction. And I said, I can't do this. I can't continue my life this way. And so that was at that point when I decided to take the reins of my own life. I started coaching with Cornelia Stephanie. I started working on creating a sense of awareness. Thus began awareness, looking at my life and understanding that the life that I was living is the life that I was creating. That was when I began to understand the box that I was stuffed into was the box that I created because I agreed to the life that I was living. I agreed to step into that box that the church put me in, that my ex-husband put me in, that my children put me in, that I had all of these reasons of externally why I was stuck in this place, of how all of these people and these life experiences put me in this place. It was at that point I realized, no, I stepped into that box. And when I began to realize that it was me that put myself in that box, then I was able to realize that I was able to step out of that box and live a completely different life. And that is where the awareness came, that huge awakening, that place where you just look in the mirror one day and you're like, enough. I have control over this situation. I am not stuck. I am not a victim in my life. And that was where the awareness happened for me, that it was time for me to pick up the pen in my own life and start writing my story the way that I wanted my story to be written, to live the life that I wanted to live. So that meant that I had to reconnect to myself. That meant that all the answers that I was looking for on the outside, I couldn't look there anymore because I'd been looking for 38 years and none of the answers were there. It was time to turn inward and start to discover where the answers were of where I needed to go next to start living the life that I wanted to live for me. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to share with you how I did that and where awareness came into play and how it can come into play for you too. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Knowledge Book Radio with host Marge Potasic each Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Through many experiences, Marge was led to the Knowledge Book, a gift to humanity in its transition to the Golden Age, and it provided the truth and the answers. She now shares information from the Knowledge Book with you each week on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
TheAngelLady.net. 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 1-800-323-1790. 1-800-323-1790. Sue Storm. TheAngelLady.net.
Learn and explore fascinating and practical uses of essential oils, how to use them, and how they can enhance your everyday life. The Oil Lounge was founded by 3 remarkable women with fascinating stories about how essential oils changed their lives. Tina and Laura from The Karmic Path have joined forces to educate the masses in the benefits of Young Living essential oils. For more information, visit theoillounge.com.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a break-free parenting tip. If you haven't been practicing active listening or are getting into some bad habits, it's a good idea to go back to the basics and remind yourself how to be a good listener. Here's an idea that might help. When your child comes to you with a story about her day, set aside whatever you're doing and give her your full attention. If you're in the middle of something that can't be put aside, tell her that you really want to be able to give her story your full attention and ask if you could continue the conversation at a specific time. So for example, this sounds like an important story and I'd really like to give it my full attention. Can we talk about it in 10 minutes when supper's in the oven? Active listening might sound like common sense, but often it's these simple skills that get buried in our parenting pack and easily forgotten or overlooked. Challenge yourself to practice this skill for a full week and see if you notice a difference in how much your child is sharing.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're listening to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge. And I am sharing with you my story of how I became a transformation coach, how my life transformed, and how I developed my system that I have been creating over the last several months. So I came to that place of finding awareness and realized that I could step out of victim mentality, working with a life coach. I started to make a lot of changes in my life, realizing that it was time for me to step out of the box that I put myself into. And so I began doing a lot of things differently as I started to create my awareness. I started to discover all of the self-limiting beliefs that I had that had been keeping me stuck and in this place of performance is my identity, my value and my worth is in what I can produce, my production. And as I began to step out of that box and create more awareness, I started working with Byron Katie and doing the work. I started journaling. I started using the emotional processing techniques. And I went to work. I went to work hard for 2 solid years. I worked at creating this awareness. And in that, creating awareness, I discovered this huge missing piece in my life, the part of me that I had been denying for so long, and that was play. I had completely forgotten how to play. When we would go outside and play with the kids and we would have these family events, we would go outside and play. And one of our favorite games that we would play was sock tag, because it was a way of kind of like dodgeball idea, except for we would have a rolled up sock and then we would throw it. And then whoever the socks, the rolled ball of socks touched, they were it. And then they would take it and they would throw it. And it was this great game that we would play. And inevitably we would go outside to play. The kids would beg me to play and I would stop and go, oh, wait. And I would start weeding the garden. And my kids would get so mad at me. They'd be like, Mom, you're just supposed to play with us. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We're playing. I'd completely forgotten how to play. Even though I ran the children's division at church and I had the whole children's section, I remembered how to play and I could create play for them, but I couldn't participate in it. And so here I am, 38 years old, and I'm finally, for the first time, remembering how to play again. And I started going on hikes with my friends. I started to learn how to backpack. I started to get into fitness in a completely different way, where instead of just going to the gym, I went outside and I interacted with my environment, and we would climb things, and I started to train for races. And then I started to decide, well, maybe I would get into like obstacle course races. And I was very good at playing until I started to make it work. And then it became work again, because you can change the things that you do on the outside, but it doesn't change who you are on the inside. And on the inside, remember, I was a producer. I was a performer. And so my value and my worth was about how well I could perform. So here I again took this form of playfulness and I turned it into work. And I turned it into being successful, getting the job done, making it be winning, turning it into a career. So then I became a fitness professional because fitness was so much fun. Well, what if I made this a career? And so I started to make it a job. So I went and I got my personal training certification and I started teaching classes, and they started out as being really fun until I turned them into work. And again comes awareness. And so in that awareness, I was like, okay, how can I take this play and keep it play? Why do I keep turning it into work? And it was like this place that I was in, this like push and pull, tug of war of, okay, I have awareness and I have play, and I would play and I would have fun, and then I would turn it into work, or I would turn it into performance. I would turn it into production. And then I would have an awareness, right, as I was doing the work of journaling and doing literally like Byron Katie's The Work of creating that awareness, of trying to stay present, reading all of my books, working with my life coach. And so I was in this place going back and forth of awareness, and then I would play, and then I would turn it into have the awareness. I'm turning it back into work, and then push it back into play. And then came the final piece for me, or that next shift or transformation, where I feel like all of the pieces finally started to come together for me in my next transformation. And that was when I began working with Kyle Cease and doing the Evolving Out Loud journey. And I was introduced into meditation. Now, mind you, I had been introduced to meditation many times before. I had done the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation, which, confession, I never made it through the full 21 days. I couldn't sit still long enough because I had this antsy energy in me of, well, I'll just journal instead of meditate, because isn't that going to be more productive? Meditation wasn't productive enough for me, for the inner addict in me, that addict that I was addicted to movement. I was addicted to performance. I was addicted to showing my value and my worth through my activity and my action of what I could do or produce. And so meditation, although it sounded great, was really, really hard for me to do. And so when I started working with Kyle Cease and doing work with him and his organization of Evolving Out Loud, and he introduced the idea of sitting and meditating for an hour, 1 hour of meditation. Mind you, I couldn't make it through 20 minutes of meditation when I first started this journey. But I had listened to his Evolving Out Loud journey, and I was so attracted to, here's this comedian, right? He had the play, he had the fun, which really drew me in, because that is my core. That is the essence of who it is that I am. But I just kept losing touch or losing sight of that playfulness. So I began my meditation, and I began to meditate for an hour every day. And it was through that meditation that I was able to finally come to the place of stillness, to where I could really listen to that deep inner voice inside of me. That voice that I lost connection with when I was 12 years old. That inner voice that I lost connection with when I was 19, when I got married, when I became a mother, when I started stuffing and piling all this external stuff on top of that inner voice, that inner knowing. The only way I was able to reconnect to it wasn't just through journaling. It wasn't through creating a mental awareness. It wasn't through reconnecting to playfulness. It was being still and sitting in meditation. And I did that for, I made it through 90 days of meditating an hour a day. And my life shifted and transformed so much because that was where I connected to me. That was where I was able to really gain the insight to what it is that I'm here to do. My sense of purpose. I reconnected to my sense of purpose. I reconnected to joy. And I remembered how to make play. I learned how to take awareness and make it useful for me and not just another tool of production and performance. And through all of these different things, I have known that I am here to help other people. That is my purpose. My purpose is to help other people to have a deeper self-connection, because it's only through that deeper self-connection that you're going to find your life of meaning, of purpose, of joy. And so I'm sitting here in this, became a life coach several years ago, and I've been working with my clients and I've been coaching them through the awareness process. I've been coaching them through the meditation process. I've been coaching them through remembering how to play and reconnect. And it finally all started to come to me a couple of months ago. And the next big piece that's so profound came to me when I was on my road trip, traveling to California. I went to go see Kyle Cease live, went to the Evolving Out Loud event, and I met an amazing, beautiful human being named Suze Alexandra. And she was able to help me in a way that I don't even think she's aware of, that really changed and shifted my life to that place of where I am now sitting in this place of being able to offer to all of you out there listening your own personal map of how to create your deeper self-connection. Because we all have the answers that we're looking for. The question that you have that you're sitting on, that you're looking for in a book, that you're looking for through a coach, that you're looking for through TV and inspirational radio and podcasts, and that thing you're searching for on Facebook and Instagram, that question that you have that's just inside of you. Like, I just have this question. I want to know the answer to fill in the blank, whether it be how to find more happiness or purpose or joy. The answer is inside of you. Every answer that you're looking for is inside of you already. And there's a map. You have your own personal map of how to get there. And so when we come back from our break, I'm going to share with you how I discovered MAP, meditation, awareness, and play, the key to your own deeper self-connection. We'll be right back.
Are you your story? Or can you change your story? Can you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your circumstances as part of your healing journey? What if you were to change your expectations? What if you were to invite ease and cooperation into every day and then step back and see what happens? It might just be easier. I'm Megan Edge, and I hope that you'll join me on my new radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out more about Megan Edge? Visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net, 1-800-323-1790.
Ladies, are you struggling with neck, back, shoulder pain, or postural issues? You actually might have a related bra problem. Talk to Maria Monti at the Healthy Bra Company. She's a professional postural therapist who offers custom-fitted, custom-altered bras in 2,500 size combinations specific to your body type, shape, size, anatomical features, and breast weight. Call Maria today to find out more at 360-815-3205.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're listening to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge. And I'm sharing my story of how becoming a transformation coach has enabled me to not only transform my own life, but to just create a process to help you transform yours. And that is not by anything that I do, but simply by that I have discovered the map. That you have your own personal map of how to create that deeper self-connection where all of the answers lie, that you can have your life of meaning, of purpose, and of joy. You can create the life that you want simply by connecting to your map. So what is your map? Your map is meditation, awareness, and play. Those three things. Incorporating those three things as part of your life, as part of your daily experience, as part of your walking, living, breathing experience, you can reclaim your life of purpose and of joy. Whatever it is that you want in your life, if you're looking for meaning, it's not out there. It's not somewhere out there in a book that you're going to read and find. It's inside of you. And the only way that you're going to find that is by stop, wait, and spend time in meditation. I thought that I could do it just through awareness. I thought that I could do it just by reading all the books, doing the self-help, but it wasn't until I had to sit in meditation. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to sit in a 1-hour meditation like I did, like Kyle Cease's teaching. It is really helpful. Sometimes it's 2 hours, but you have to stop and take the time to sit and meditate, to be still, because you can't hear that inner voice that's trying to talk to you unless you sit long enough to listen to it. So maybe your meditation is a movement meditation. Maybe your meditation is going for a walk and being in nature, but being alone and in silence. But spending time in silence and in meditation is how you're going to connect to that inner part of yourself. Next is awareness, to look at and discover what your limiting beliefs are. What is the program that was installed in you from the age of 0 to 7? That's when we were programmed. The way that we were brought up, the information that was brought to us, the way that we went through middle school and the identities that we had tried on. Finding out what those were and reconnecting to that self. So you spend time in a meditation, then you're going to gain the awareness. So taking time to sit and journal and write out what it is that what came to you in your meditation. Reading the books is going to help you to get the awareness. Working with a coach is going to help you create awareness. Spending time in meditation is going to help you find that awareness. Awareness is the biggest part of the body of work that I'm working on, because that's where that light bulb comes on, where you realize you're not a victim in your life, where you are the driver, that you can pick up the pen and you can start writing out your own script. And the last piece of your map is play. You've got to play. Spend time doing things that are fun and playful. Connect to that inner 4, 5, 6-year-old. What did you love to do when you were little? What were the things that you imagined about and played with? Do more of those things. And so this final piece, I just want to share a little bit about the story of how I came to that place of play, of how I got to remember who I was. Driving through California, and I go and I stop to meet Suze Alexandra, this amazing human being who does something called soul prints. And I was so lucky to be able to have my soul print done by Suze. I went to her house, and what she does is she senses and sits with you, and she reads who you are at your soul level. And just spending a little bit of time together, we picked out paint colors, and she just was able to see the essence of who I was, and she sees it in color and in paint. And so here you can see, if you're watching, the picture of her painting paint on my body. So we took all of these colors, we chose the position that I was going to be in, and she started to paint my body. And she was painting my body, and I wanted to have my scarf. The scarf represented the life my mother never lived. And we were painting and painting, and she's putting all of this paint on me, and I'm standing there and I'm covered in paint, and then begins the imprint, where she takes this canvas that she spent weeks on, sensing, feeling into me, knowing what this canvas was going to look like, which is the depth of the ocean and the expansiveness of the universe, which that's a whole nother story. And so she then was able to paint, and then she imprinted my body onto the canvas. And so here I have covered in paint, my body's being pressed into this canvas, and then the revealing. And so here you can see, if you're watching, the revealing of what that painting looks like. All of the amazing colors against the dark background of me in that position of holding my scarf, realizing that actually I'm letting it go. And it wasn't until I looked at that painting, all of a sudden staring at it, tears came to my eyes, because I started to realize that she captured the true essence of who I am. And who I am is I am play, I am fun, I am joy, I am bliss. And so we named the painting Return to Play. And it was through that experience of having my soul prints done that literally months later, that it became the final piece of my body of work that I've been working on for the last several months, which is MAP, which I can help you find the map to your deeper self-connection. It's not my map, it's your map, your own personal map. And that is through meditation, that is through awareness, and that is through play. And so I'm really excited to finally be releasing this body of work. I'm really excited to finally be sharing about my painting. I'm really excited to be able to help you be able to find that deeper self-connection. And so what I am offering today is I am offering free coaching. Yes, I am offering free coaching. I want to work with you, and I want to help you to be able to read your map. I want to help you find out what's your way of meditation. I want to help you find out how to have your awareness. What awareness do you need to have so that you can find out what those self-limiting beliefs are, so that you can reconnect to what is your purpose? What's your meaning? Why are you here? What is it that you're here put on this earth to do? It's to live in your joy. And I'm here to help you find out how to play again, to reconnect to play. That is the big part that's missing in the transformation community, is play. To go outside and play, to play in nature, whether it be dancing or hula hooping or having sex with your partner or self-pleasure, or if it's going out and hiking, if it's spending time with your friends, if it's spending time by yourself, if it's interacting in your community, or if it's being alone, if it's jump roping or hula hooping or working out or whatever it may be, there is something inside of you that wants to be expressed. There is a playfulness that needs to be reconnected to, because transformation can be fun. It doesn't have to only be work. And I discovered that through having my soul print done that I needed to remember that I don't need to keep making everything hard, that I can make things playful and joyful. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So contact me at livingwhole@charlenehess.com and claim your free 30-minute coaching that I'm going to coach you for free for 30 minutes to help you connect to your map. No strings attached. Just email me, livingwhole@charlenehess.com, and let me help you find your map to your deeper self-connection so that you can reclaim your life of purpose and of joy. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of my community. Thank you for taking the time to transform your own life and living your best self. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for listening to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge with your host, Charlene Hess. Tune in every first and third Friday at noon Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com as Charlene empowers you to shed the layers of your ego and to connect to your heart so that you can live your calling and shine your unique divine light. For more information or to listen to past shows, visit charlenehess.com. That's CharlenHess.com. See you next time.